This is Renee, and this is podcast number 12. Are you ready?
Welcome to the ITeachBlogging.com blogcast. Your host, Renee Grosskreutz, talks blog all day long and shares it all. No secrets here to help you become a successful blogger. Listen at the end of today's blogcast on how to get your free PDF of Renee's booklet, Tips on Blogging for Business. Now, here's Renee.
We will recap a tip from the last podcast. A quick SEO tip, and then we are going to get down to it with the conversation about blogging frequency and a quick little formula. Here's the tip from the last podcast, podcast number 11, 5 things that you can do right now to promote your blog on Twitter. Here's tip number 5 from that podcast, be direct and beg. Nicely, of course. Ask people directly to read your blog post. If you have just released a new blog post, mention someone to ask their opinion of the post. Here's my example. At Fun City Awesome. So this is public, right? So at Fun City Awesome, what did you think of my blog post, Being Ready to Fail at Blogging, podcast number 9. Here's the link. I would love your thoughts. So let's just break this down. Here's what I did. I went on Twitter, did a public conversation to somebody. So I took the time to actually choose someone, not just some blanket statement of, hey guys, I just released a new blog post and here it is, and I hope everybody that follows me and connects with me and happens to do a search on any of these keywords reads my blog post. No, I went and said, hey, Fun City Awesome, I think something of you. I would really love to know your opinion about me. And so what I've done is I've asked somebody their opinion about me, is really what I've done, and people love giving their opinion. So, go on Twitter. Now, don't do this individually to every single follower. It loses the impact. Of course, that would take a lot of time as well. But pick some people every time and say, hey, listen, I just released a blog post, and I'd really like your opinion to know what you think of it. Did you gain anything? What is your opinion? So there you go. That's my tip from the last podcast. Here is your SEO tip for the day. Make sure that you are using internal links. In my previous tip from the last podcast, I said don't do link exchanges or link farms, but that doesn't mean that you can't do plenty of internal links. And as a matter of fact, you should. They're very important. For example, when I release the show notes page for this podcast, I'm going to reference the previous podcast, just as I'm doing right now. In the reference sentence, I will put a link to the previous podcast show notes blog post. Well, that was a full mouth right there. This is an internal link, done and done. This is not some sort of trickery or something like that. You have a reader. They thought enough of your title to click on your link and actually read your blog post. That's freaking awesome. It means they're interested. With an internal link, you're just providing them with more content to read so that they don't have to hunt and peck and maybe miss out on something. Don't make these links random. They need to make sense and be relevant and add value. So that is your SEO tip for the day. Okay, so let's get down to it with a bit about blogging frequency and a formula. This is going to be fairly quick. In case you missed it, here are a few blogging stats worth noting. Companies that blog gain 55% more visitors than companies do not. Think about that. Just the simple act, I say simple act of blogging means that you could get 55% more visitors to your website. Holy crap. Companies that blog have 434% more indexed pages. Wow. Business-to-business companies that blog generate 67% more leads per month than those who do not. So let's just think about this for a second. If you blog, you're going to get 55% more increased traffic and 67% more leads per month. Dude, I'm in. So I think everyone really understands that blogging matters. It's finding time to blog that is the real problem. I mean, think about it. You're like, okay, it's Monday. This is a brand new week. I know that I need to be blogging for my business. I'm going to do it this week. And suddenly, it's Friday, it's 7 p.m., and you're like, crap, man, I didn't freaking blog. So finding the time, honestly, is really the real problem here. There's other issues of, am I a very good writer? Does anybody care about what I have to say, right? I mean, these are all the blogging insecurities. But with all of that in mind, I thought I could share a bit about blogging frequency tip here that we created for our business, for our company blog a few years back. So here it is. This is really simple. If we have less than 5 blog posts in the queue, we stay at 1 post a week. If we have 5 blog posts in the queue, we get to go to 2 blog posts a week. If we have more than 10 blog posts in the queue at any given moment, then we can go to 3 times a week. Now you might wonder, why is this important? Well, the more often, the more frequent that you blog, dramatically increases the amount of hits and leads that you get. I mean, dramatically. I can put some HubSpot stats on the site for you here that I'll reference on the show notes page that is going to blow your freaking mind. So, blogging frequency matters a lot because let me talk about this. There's something about it that if you start getting regular readers, which of course is the hallelujah moment, right? And they're expecting a blog post, and they're like, okay, on Mondays, Renee releases a blog post and I teach blogging, which is not my frequency, but whatever, just for the sake of conversation. So every Monday, somebody's excited to read my new blog tip, so they go to my blog, and there's not a new one. And they're like, crap, did Renee die? Did she stop blogging? What the heck happened? So there wasn't a new one for them, so the next week they're like, well, it's Monday, but I'm not going to go to Renee's blog because she didn't release one last Monday, so obviously she's not going to do it now. You want to have a serious frequency. You want to stay top of mind. Because remember, blogging is about top of mind depending on how you're doing it. Like if you're a business, let's say you're a lawn care company or something, you're blogging to provide people with good information, but really you're trying to stay top of mind so that people, A, stay your client, and become your client. So with me, my blogging is about providing tips and data and information. So there's different types of blogging. But anyway, I digress. So that's it. 5 blog posts or less, 1 time a week. 5 blog posts or more in the queue, twice a week. More than 10 blog posts, I get to go to 3 times a week. If you've been following my blog, I Teach Blogging, for any length of time, which couldn't be long because it hasn't existed for that long, you'll notice that I have not been the best at practicing at what I preach. For a long while, my blog posts were sporadic at best. I was just getting it all started. I could provide a long list of excuses, and hey, just to make myself feel better, I'm going to provide you with a few. I was in transition, and ITB was a lower priority because I was launching a new website company. If you need a website, give me a call. I'm busy consulting with other people about their blog. I do blog consulting. I got to talk to other people about their blog. I don't have time for my own. I got the flu. I got bronchitis. I got just a bunch of freaking excuses. That's all I got. I'm a lot like a mechanic who drives the worst running car around, but spend a great deal of time on other businesses' blogs and consulting with clients. That's just been the truth. That's been my history. That's no longer true. So all you readers and listeners out there know that I Teach Blogging is now my full-time job and priority project. You can expect lots of consistency ahead. Other than, like in my previous blog post I talked about in number 10 where I got the flu and whatever. But anyway, there you go. Don't worry, I still consult and build blogs too, but for me it is blogging all of the time. That's what I do. In the end, while the stats add pressure and the idea that you should blog more adds pressure, it is a good idea to come up with your own sets of rules for frequency. My best advice to you is just to start writing and don't stop for a long time. Then when you realize that you have a backlog of posts in the queue, start adding to your frequency. That's my biggest tip. I advise my clients to not even build a blog at all until they've written the first 10 posts. This helps them know that they have what it takes to actually write, which, by the way, anyone can do. So these first 10 are not a test for these people, but rather a proving point for them that they can actually do this. So my tip is to only post 1 time a week until after you have the first 10 posts in a queue. That means that you have 10 posts that are not ready to go yet. You have not released them. Until you have more than 10 in the backlog, and then you can increase your frequency from there. But whatever you do, just keep blogging, because blogging matters. Blog on. Thank you for listening to ITeachBlogging.com blogcast with me, Renee Grosskreutz. Visit ITeachBlogging.com/show notes. I will have the PDF download for you at that link, along with useful links that we talked about today. Go forth and blog.